there are those who think that the government is doing little to help rural Ireland, or indeed doing more to destroy it. To state the obvious, local post offices are closing down, credit unions and bank branches are closing, Garda stations are closing, small family shops are closing their doors, pubs are closing overnight, and to add to that, creches are closing because of insurance costs. With national elections looming, now is the time for the people to address their government and say what they mean and what their needs are. Who more is at the heart of rural Ireland and rural society than the farmers? With me tonight, I have two farmers in studio. I'd like to introduce you to John Daly, individual farmer from Ballyjamestuff in County Cavan, and to Jolene Smith, an individual farmer from Ballyjamestuff in County Cavan. Welcome.
Thank you, Anya.
Thank you very much, Anya.
What we are here, we're talking about the demise of local society, and the farmer has a very big part to say in local society, in local communities, okay? And we saw over the summer and we saw last year where farmers were out demonstrating. They were demonstrating not just to keep their livelihood, but to survive. And we'll talk about that. They had demonstrations outside beef plants, factories, and on the streets of Dublin. Now, why you're here tonight is to talk about the demise of rural society and the plight of the farmer, but you're also to talk about next Wednesday, the 15th in Dublin, at 2 o'clock approximately in Merrion Square Dublin, you're organising nationwide a demonstration.
That's right.
Yes.
John, tell me about the demonstration on the day.
Well, on the demonstration on the day is that we'll be getting prepared from early morning, so we will to go to Dublin. We'll be meeting in Virginia. County Cavan will be meeting there at the Lakeside Manor, and we'll hope to get to Dublin for around 1:30, 2 o'clock for assembly in Merrion Square, where we're all going to meet from all parts of the country.
Who exactly is going to be in Dublin on the day?
Well, the whole individual farmers of Ireland and all of rural Ireland.
You're talking everybody. You're talking beef farmers, dairy farmers, any other kind of farmers there are. You're talking the farming community.
The whole farming community. We're looking for support from all local stores and co-ops and contractors and all that's involved in the farmers.
So it's not a group per se, it's not a named group per se, it is just basically a group of farmers and people involved in farming.
That's right, yes.
Is there a leader of this group?
There's no leader of this group, they just come as individual farmers of Ireland.
Okay, now Jolene, to bring you in there are plenty of issues that the farmers have to fight, that all kinds of farmers have to fight at the moment. I just threw out a few there. We're talking about the current beef price. We're talking about the carbon tax that's going to be introduced. We're talking about the issue of Board B and Teagasc that the farming community does not have faith in what they're being told to do. But first of all, we'll talk about the current beef price. We know there were demonstrations all over Ireland in the last year, 2019, but suddenly it stopped. Can you tell me, was there a resolution or what?
Well, no, Anya, there really wasn't a resolution. We stood down the pickets back in September. We were at €3.60 a kilo of beef.
So just to explain that to anybody, you were getting €3.60,
yes.
€3.60 per kilo per animal.
For a heifer, and $3.55 for a steer, yes.
Now, just sorry for butting in on you there, but just to give people an idea, it actually costs more than that to rear an animal.
Teagasc have come out with figures. They're saying €4.17 is what we need to break even. Now, we're a long way off that. We're still back, even with the increase of the 5 cent, we're still at $3.60. They dropped the prices and they brought it back up. You know, it's unsustainable for the beef industry at this stage.
And that was a very good point. That was a point that was brought across. I saw many of the interviews at the gates and at demonstrations, and we covered some of that ourselves in Cavan TV. The farmer, he just literally was not making a living. Yes. They were rearing the animals to do what with them?
To have a loss. That's what's happening.
So you did call an end to the demonstration.
Yes, like there was schemes brought in, BEEP scheme, the BEAM scheme. You know, these other schemes were brought in to try and pay or compensate the farmer.
False promises.
Yes, because at the end of the day, in one of the schemes, you had to reduce your herd. You know, so that was a carrot put out to the farmers to cut their herd. you know. And as I would say, a farmer, all he wants is fair pay for his quality premium animal. That's it. That's all he's looking for.
You could say that the factories want the same.
I don't think so. I don't think the farmers
You don't
or
think
the factories
they
want.
weren't playing ball with the
No,
farmers?
they're not. Definitely not.
They were going to make a profit anyway.
They're making a profit. They've made millions of profits last
At
year.
the behest of the farmer.
Yes.
Okay, so to bring in Bord Bia and Teagasc there, they're supposed to be the advisory agents for the farmer and supposed to give them support. But you're not happy with that, John?
No, I am not, Miriam. I am very disappointed in Bord Bia because they have a premium product and they're not labelling it. They have a suckler cow, which I have a big herd of suckler cows myself, and they're not promoting a cow and calf on grass that has no hormones or has no injections or no withdrawals or no hormones or nothing in intake. So
is it they're giving the wrong information to you, or they're not giving enough? What is the story here?
They're not cooperating at all with the farmer. They have 30 months rule in there, and like today they were up in the task force and they were talking about that and moving it here and there and going and testing beef from 30 months to 36 months, which there's no problem with an animal 30 months to 36 months, on my issue. And as well as that, there's four movements on cattle. Sure, that's if it comes out of a Bord Bia herd, sure, from one farm to the next, sure, there's no issue with.
So what would you say as a suggestion of curing these problems?
Well, sure, like it's the government or someone or our minister has been very bad to the farmers of rural Ireland. He hasn't stood with them. He has let them down. So he has, and he hasn't come along and address these issues.
What do you call on him today to do?
Well, I don't think I'll be calling on him to do anything, because when the last day we were up in Dublin, he told us lies. So we're not accepting much more from him. So I think we've lost
But you
all
haven't
faith
given
in
up
him.
the battle yet. You've lost faith in Bord Bia and Teagasc and in your minister and in the Minister for Agriculture, but you've not lost faith again. We're going to reiterate it again. Next Wednesday, January the 15th, assembly time 2 o'clock, Merrion Square Dublin. And maybe we have some photographs of demonstrations that took place last year. But I'm going to get back to Jolene on another subject, and we're going to talk about beef labelling and the countries of origin, the transparency of the beef. You are not happy with this?
No, certainly not happy on you with it at all. As John said, we're creating a premium product here. We're not getting paid for that product. What we've come across in the last number of weeks is products with non-Irish labelling on them. There's no origin on it. There is no factory codes on
I'll
it.
stop you there. When I watch ads on the television, Brady's Hams, I'm sorry I'm after mentioning a name there, just come into my head,
Yes.
but things like that, you are told that you can trace your little sandwich right back to its origin, to where it came from. You can see the cow in the field. I'm sorry, but I've been told
Yes.
that on the television.
That's what you're being told, and that's what the normal householder believes, that they are going in there, they're picking up an Irish product and they're supporting their local industry, the farming community. Unfortunately, the reality of the situation is that when you go in, we have a number of samples of this beef which we have traced. The codes are not matching up to Irish
you
codes.
actually did an experiment this evening. You got your scanner out on your phone and you scanned. I think we can show it up on screen there shortly. We can show where you scanned the code on
Yes, the
sale
barcode
at
here.
shop. So Irish beef code starts with 539.
539.
That's not what you found.
That's not what we found. We found codes of 021. There's certain other codes we found, 922. These are not Irish
Are they
codes.
saying they're Irish beef?
No, these are not saying they're Irish beef.
But they're selling them in our supermarket.
They're selling them in the supermarkets. They're not Bord Bia stamped. They're not Bord Bia approved. They're in the freezers. They're in the fridges. People are going in thinking and assuming that they're buying an Irish product. Some of them even have an Irish flag on them, which is not the official Bord Bia flag.
Okay, let me say, of course they can sell beef in these shops that isn't Irish, but you're saying there's beef been sold with an Irish flag on it that doesn't have the code 539.
Exactly. That's exactly what's happening on you.
And we have up on screen there. Explain what we have up on screen if you can see it there, Jolene.
So you have a product, it's a round roast of 021 is the product code. The barcode stays 021. There's no origin stated. There's no plant location and there's no Bord Bia approved stamp on this meat.
So just to get to the bottom of this and let me understand this, when I see meat on a shelf in a store, no matter where it's from, am I supposed to be able to know its origin?
You are supposed to be able to know its origin, yes.
It should be on the packaging.
It should be stated on the packaging. It's not on that packaging, no.
Where does our Irish beef stand in that? Is our beef on the shelves with 539 on it?
This is what our government and what Board B should be doing. Board B has gone out to China and sold our Irish beef as Irish, as organic, as sustainable product. You know, it's a green product. We're feeding them out in the fields. They're
one of the countries in the world that's doing that.
Exactly. We're in the top 5 of producing beef and producing sustainable beef in Europe. And we have not been rewarded for that product. Here we have farm beef coming in, being sold in our supermarkets, taking the place of our beef. Our beef comes with no hormones, no additives, we'll say, you know, in our meal.
So it's supposedly organic out in the fields.
Yes, some are organic, some are not organic. Now, it just depends on the type of farming that you're in, which you produce. But the point I'm making is we have any ample amount of Irish beef in this country. We don't need to be importing beef. You know, we have our own beef.
So can I ask the question? And that perhaps is the question that will lead to what the public buy. Is Irish beef dearer than the other beef on the shelves?
No, it's not. It's not dearer on the shelves.
Is it a price thing?
I can see where it is a price thing, because factories are buying it abroad for a fraction of what we're producing it at, and that has been proven. I know on one lorry load, a container load of beef that came into this country, the processor stood to make 28,000 on that container of beef. You know, so that's a massive payout for the factories. You know, they're not going to make that on the Irish beef.
And on a point there, Anya, as well, like Mr. Creed, our Minister, has calling now, and on this week on the Farmers Journal, he says that the suckler cows is not viable, that we have to get rid of our suckler cow that has a calf running around the field. He says no longer they're not wanting in this country. Like, it is a disgrace what has happened. It's going to close down rural Ireland, so it is, because if the suckler farmer is not doing well and going to the mart with his calves and his weanings and selling them in the mart and pulling up and going to the vegetable shop and going into the supermarkets and going into the stores, like, it's all a bad day when the suckler cow goes. Like, a lot of people doesn't realise this, but this day is coming.
Yeah, but that's all well and done. That's perhaps you're talking in Ireland of the past. Things are changing now. We're in the EU now. They've got EU regulations, and we're governed by that as well.
Coming in on that, yeah, just like time is changing, and we have noticed since the protests, our local butcher shop featured on a programme on RT recently, and he stated his sales have gone up 25% because people are not happy with the way beef has been sold and products have been sold in this country. They're unsure of what they're buying. You know, and anyone who's health conscious is not going to go in and buy a product that's pumped with hormones. You know, and there's a lot of that meat coming into this country, unfortunately.
So I'd say a lot of the problem out there, I know the problem is a lot to do with politics and a lot to do with money and prices and everything, but a lot of the problem out there as well is knowledge. You're not getting the right information. Who do you blame for that, John?
I blame our government and our agricultural minister, Mr. Creed. Like, for instance, in this town where we are here in Cavan, I know there used to be 60 heifers killed every week in this town in Cavan, so they did, and there was 200 lambs killed down in Dunho's yard up to the last 6 years every week. That kept the mart going in Cavan. Cavan mart is only surviving, just going bit by bit. The farmers used to come in with their beef heifers, and the Dunho's were there, and they bought them, and they killed them the next week. And like, that's where we are, is that, like, the whole thing is there's no traceability now on the beef that's coming into the country or what's being killed.
Will traceability, I know it's a big thing, but will traceability improve the trade? You said in the event of that butcher shop.
Yes, because people are not happy with what has been offered to them on the shelves. So they're prepared to go into the butchers, pay that little bit more for their local butcher for a premium product. They know where it's been killed. You walk in, they have a board behind the counter exactly whose animal was killed this week. So you know where your animal has come from.
How can ye as farmers and ye as individual farmers, and I can see that you're angry, I can see your frustration, I can see that you're out there banging your head against the walls. What can you do apart from demonstrations? What can you do? What can you ask the government to do to change it?
But Anya, what can we ask them? We have no government. This is the problem. Our government is gone.
Well, we have what
Your
we
health
have.
board is gone. They've sold out the farmers. What more do they want to do?
We have what we have, and what's in there was elected in there, so somebody put them in.
Yeah.
Okay.
We have to deal with it. We have to deal with it. But again, having said that, we're talking about another general election.
Then it's the time to talk. And another point, I can see you're angry, and you're right to be angry, because a livelihood, and not only livelihood, and a point you mentioned as well, Jolene, you're talking about what are we eating? We're getting more health conscious and fitness conscious nowadays. What are we eating? We're more afraid of the awful word cancer. What are we eating? They say it's from what we're eating. This is what we want to know. What do you say to the government?
Well,
Whatever government is in power, what do you say?
I think the going forward to sort out this problem, I think, is the individual
Transparency.
Yes.
and the individual farmers that stood on the grounds for the farmers to save rural Ireland. I think we should come together and we should win to the Dáil.
I honestly think, look, you know, people are out there and people are angry. And we do need everyone to stand together, all farmers to stand together to fight this. Because if we lose this battle, we may just walk away from our land.
To get back to you, Daly, we're going to mention it again, and we're talking about next Wednesday, January the 15th, 2 o'clock, and I think you've got the young Wolf Tones are supporting you on the day. They're going to be there on the day. And you are prepared for the long haul. I heard you talking earlier, John. You're prepared for the long haul. Farmers are meeting, all kinds of farmers meeting, going to Dublin, prepared to stay, again, prepared to put their shoulder to the wheel, literally speaking, and they're going to show their support again. Now, you could close down Dublin, as you have done, as farmers have. I'll call you farmers, as farmers have done before. They might say you're doing yourself no favours there.
No, we aren't, because the people of Dublin the last day were very good to us, and they were very nice, because they come out and
they want to get home from work, and they want to go to work, and they want to get home as well.
Yes, but we have no other choice going to Dublin. We're very annoyed. As farmers, we're very annoyed on the ground, because we've been let down very bad. So we have.
There we have on screen a shot of one of the demonstrations from before. Let's talk, Jolene, about numbers on the day. What have you had before? I know you closed down Dublin once before, and I suppose in showing your power is the only way to get noticed and heard. And it's sad to do it, but that's the way it is.
Anya, we have massive numbers coming this time. We have tillage farmers. The massive issue for them right now is carbon tax. Farmers and contractors are being hit with this massive carbon tax.
Farmers are also been told that they're the biggest cause of the carbon.
Yes, but the accurate calculations are not being done on you. Farmers are not, the grassland sequesters the carbon. That has not been taken into account. Bogland acts as carbon sinks. None of this has been calculated into the equation. But yet the aviation, that industry is able to fly planes from here to Australia, wherever.
No rules, regulations.
No rules, tax-free.
Again,
aviation fuel.
Information. Again, you're talking about lack of information. Nobody's speaking the truth here.
Yeah, so the aviation industry hasn't been hit with the carbon tax at all. You know, so we have the tillage farmers coming in, we have growers coming in, the grain growers coming in with us. We have farmers from every walk of life, hill farmers out in the west of Galway, west of Ireland, sheep farmers. You know, we have every walk of life coming in. I know there's people coming from Killarney.
Yes.
You know.
Okay, so I want to say again, shoulders to the wheel.
Exactly.
As I've 12 months protesting at the gates. We are now since last September, but last January, February, I have been on Facebook telling the suckler farmers of Ireland we're going to be sold out. I'm calling on them this time to really come to Dublin and put the shoulder to the wheel, or our day is gone. And I like getting up to calve a cow and sucking a calf and heading to the mart and seeing the crack at the day when there's a show on sale, and seeing the crack with the lads as fellow farmers. Have we a nice win, or what do we breed them off the AI? But I'm telling you, lads, we don't want to let this go. We'll stick the battle, and we're fighting for it. And please be all there Wednesday. We'll see us all in Dublin as fellow farmers.
Okay.
And it's not just about the farming. The mental mind of the farmer, you know, for them to go into the mart on a day and chat to the local farmers and their friends, because this is what it is. It's a social event for farmers as well as a business. You know, none of that is considered at this stage. When we're wiping out Ireland, we're wiping out the whole social side of Ireland.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
I don't know if this is a conspiracy theory, and I don't want to upset you, John, any more than you're upset, but I'm hearing on the other line, we should say, that the day of the small farmer is gone. It's now going to be big farms, cooperative farmings. Does that do you see that happening?
No.
Is that a threat?
It is. It might be a
Is
threat.
that what they have planned down the line? Or
Well, they probably do want the ranch farmers, and they reckon if you have them 500 cattle to 1,000, that's the way it is, because the factories have designed this with the lads with big single farm payments, and that's the way they want to do it. Make a phone call for Friday evening and to tell the lads come in with 50 cattle or 100 cattle. But I don't think rural Ireland should stand for this and let us be sold out. I think we're here.
There's 120,000 farmers in Ireland. There's 120,000 approximately working in the computer industry in this country. The systems are put in place for them. Whatever they need, whatever valleys they need, whatever roadways they need, whatever it is, broadband systems, data centres, whatever it is, they get it. All we're asking for is a fair price for our animal. You know, you're talking the equivalent. If the farming industry goes in the morning, who's going to support rural Ireland? There's nobody left.
yeah, the fabric of rural.
We are. There's nobody left. We have become little B&Bs. We have become, villages and towns, sleepy villages and towns. People commute from them daily, back up to the city, back down. It's a rat race. And we're there keeping the communities going. We're there in football matches, community centres, be it whatever it is. We're the fabric of that community.
Rain and snow, the farmer is there.
You know?
Okay. Is there anything else you'd like to say? We've been talking now for about 20 minutes. John, is there anything else you'd like to say before we wind up?
Well, I would just say that...
I'll give you, you've had your say, but I'll give you another minute to your camera there, John.
Yes.
I want you to tell me why you want the rural people, and indeed the people of Ireland, to support you next Wednesday.
Well, next Wednesday, I hope that all farmers will come. Either be a milkman, a beef man, a sheep man, or a pig man, or calling our tillage men, or our contractors. We're calling on you to really stand shoulder to shoulders this time. We're in a crisis, and all suckler men should be with us because we're being sold out. And says, if the farmer's having a bad day, we're all having a bad day.
Thank you, John. And Jolene, you're very articulate, and the beef code is a big thing. You're
Yes.
looking for transparency.
Transparency,
You're
yeah.
looking for honesty, perhaps?
Exactly.
Okay, what do you say to the people of Ireland, the rural people of Ireland? What do you say to make everybody come on?
I suppose, look, number one, I suppose, is question where your beef is coming from, where your meat is coming from. You know, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to take a stand and to really represent our rural communities. We're the fabric of rural Ireland. And if we don't do it, there will be nothing for the next generation to come. You know, it'll be planted land, and that's what's been seen in other counties in this country.
Okay, folks, you've heard it from the farmers themselves, the farmers on the ground, as it were. Do we want to see the demise of rural Ireland? Do we want to see our farmers going? I mean, everybody who's anybody knows farming and has farming in their veins in Ireland. You heard it this evening, people on the ground in our own county, in County Cavan. I'll tell you what it is again. It's next Wednesday, the 15th of January, in Dublin, Merrion Square Assembly at 2 o'clock. The Young Wolf Tones are playing there, and as John says, the people will be there in spirit, in force and in body to tell the government that they listen to us. This is what we want. We're fighting for us. We're fighting for Ireland. We're fighting for our country and speak. Once again, in studio, I'd like to thank John Daly, individual farmer from Ballyjames in County Cavan, and I'd like to thank Jolene Smith for her information, again, an individual farmer from Ballyjames in County Cavan. That's it. That's it from News and Views in Cavan TV. And I'd like to thank Positive Age in Drummondley for the use of their studio, and to Sarah for the use of their gigabit broadband. Thank you and good evening from Cavan TV News and Views.
Thank you.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.